Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for yet another video in our Databricks Security Best Practices series. Today, we'll be talking about Databricks' serverless offering and specifically hone in on the journey of a SQL query and our serverless SQL capabilities. My name is Sylvie Tofan, and I'm working as a solutions architect specializing in Databricks' enterprise platform and serverless capabilities. I've been working very closely with my colleague Arun from our security field engineering team in order to bring you the content you'll see over the next 10 minutes or so. Before we begin, however, if you're watching this video and have yet to browse through our Security and Trust Center, I highly recommend you check that out. It contains valuable information that platform and information security professionals should be aware of when evaluating Databricks' security stance. We embed security operations as part of our product development, attest various capabilities through assurance and compliance certifications, and make commitments on how we approach privacy, all of which you can find on our Trust Center online. We strongly believe that Databricks Serverless helps you be confident that your sensitive data is protected. The video will walk you through our security posture at every stage of a SQL query's lifecycle. If you're unfamiliar with Databricks' general platform architecture, we recommend you review some of the other videos in the series before you go deep into this one. We'll be starting off with a user who sends a SQL query through our platform. A user can be either a data analyst who's accessing the platform, or it can be a multitude of tools sending comments through API or JDBC calls. Think of visualization tools or any sort of applications that you're building on top of Databricks. This query is encrypted in transit as it makes its way to the control plane being the multi-tenant service that Databricks runs. Across query creation and before it makes its way to a compute service, the query is protected by over 6 layers of authentication and networking controls that protect the command itself from malicious actors. Once we've gone through the end-to-end pathway of the query, we'll call out the various controls you benefit from at every single stage of the process. As the query reaches the serverless compute plane, again through encrypted traffic, we leverage cloud-native private link services by default in our serverless offering to further mitigate any risk of data leakage. In the compute layer itself, Databricks employs 4 levels of compute isolation to manage data, network, and process security for all of our customers who are using the serverless service. As some of these queries need access to data hosted in our customer's cloud storage account, this data will be retrieved through private connections to your storage, with over 5 options that you can stack on to secure the data that you're accessing with minimal setup or additional overhead. Across the 3 stages of our query's lifecycle, we rely on access and data security to keep your data safe, on network security to make sure we create boundaries between the different workloads, and process security to allow you to comply with regulatory requirements. In the control plane, we offer built-in secure identity management via SSO with SAML or OIDC, backed up by multi-factor authentication to integrate directly with your current existing identity provider. You can also tack on IP access lists and front-end private link options to further limit the network surface area of who can access your Databricks service. And we also provide built-in vulnerability management for our control plane services, with authenticated scans for static and dynamic application security testing, and give you the ability to access detailed audit logs of all events, or leverage your own encryption keys for the platform's managed services. As the query runs in the serverless compute plane, temporary short-lived tokens are requested from Unity Catalog, our data governance layer, after checking grants on behalf of the user or service principal making the request for data access down the line, so that only workloads with proper authorization have access to the needed data. The serverless compute that the workloads are running on is bound by defense in depth with secure east-west and internet traffic. The workloads themselves run on unprivileged containers. Attached disks are dedicated to a customer. They're all temporary and encrypted at rest. The compute follows exactly the same pattern. It's dedicated to a single customer. It runs in an isolated network with no public IP access, no ingress allowed from other workloads to make sure that your particular workload is secure during creation and runtime. And all of the resources used in serverless compute, such as the VMs, the container, the attached storage disks, they're all securely wiped upon the decommissioning process when the compute is stopped. Everything is ephemeral and no data is persisted once the serverless workload completes. On accessing data from your storage bucket, the compute plane host uses the limited and short-term lived token minted by Unity Catalog to download the data directly from storage after validating its access grants. Network connectivity is limited to service or gateway endpoints and can be further reinforced by leveraging cloud provider private link services between the serverless compute plane and your storage buckets. And all the calls can be logged through Databricks and the cloud provider's audit log systems when you're accessing storage. Furthermore, you can also leverage custom encryption keys for encrypting your data on your cloud storage as part of this process as well to add yet another layer of security to your sensitive data. As you consider securing your Databricks Serverless SQL deployment, you can use this slide as a quick reference for the operations that you can implement while going through the details that we provide in our documentation. In order to secure the control plane, if you're on Azure or GCP, you already have SSO on by default. And if you're in AWS, you'll need to configure the integration with your identity provider. But that's been recently made very simpler across all workspaces, setting it up only once with unified login. Databricks also makes it really easy for you to set up IP access lists and/or front-end private link for any user application authenticating to the control plane. And the built-in governance layer in Unity Catalog allows you to simply turn on audit logs. It's very, very easy to do so. And as you're setting up your security perimeter for the service, you can also bring your own encryption keys to our managed services. For the serverless compute plane, we provide built-in network and process security through our serverless offering, leaving you with just making sure that the right users are granted the right access to the right data, again, made very simple through Unity Catalog grants. So you don't really have a lot of setup to do for the compute as you start using serverless. And finally, on the storage side, access is handled through UC minted tokens, so you don't have to worry about authorization beyond the initial setup and grants to your users. And you can focus on allowing firewall traffic or setting up additional private link capabilities and flick the switch on audit logs. It gives you the option to programmatically build all of these controls in your automation process. So you can do pretty much all of this setup through our Terraform integrations or through direct scripting. Hopefully, our short video today gave you an overview of how your SQL queries pass securely through our serverless compute offering. If you're looking for highly efficient, low maintenance, and secure compute for SQL, definitely try out our serverless SQL part of the platform. Please also check out our documentation for more information on how to set up some of the security features described in this video. And also check out the Security and Trust Center for more detail on how we secure the Databricks platform. As part of our security series, we'll be releasing more videos on how we secure the control plane, the compute plane, and access to data, and go further into the controls that we've highlighted today. So please keep an eye out on our security best practices series. Thank you for watching.